Saturdays I trash your party. You hate Trump, Biden shot it. You tell every kid you see that you are gay. Science makes you mad, indictments make you glad. For 8 years now we've got 'em, that's all you said. Biology is just too much, so the doctors cut off your nuts, and you think that you are a babe. You call me names and swear at me, because you changed the way you be, and I don't want to live your fantasy. I know I'm right, you're fucking crazy, and tonight I'm gonna prove just how much you ain't too bright. You're kinda lazy. I know you're wrong, I know I'm right, you're fucking nuts. Alright, welcome to this week's show. First things first. Alright, first things first. Time for some invitations. Every week. Taking a bit to load up. Alright, Looney left us every week. There we go. Next. That. Hey, the list gets longer every week too, because there's just so many idiots out there, and they're entertaining to fuck with. I'm not even gonna lie. That. Just hammering the cult members, because that's what I like to do. Trying to figure out why that should not be what you see. I have no idea what's going on. Anyway, I'm just inviting people. The Looney left. Pretty much. Alright, comment. Okay, I think that takes care of all that tonight. Yep, we're good to go now. Of course, what? I gotta go to scene 2. Where's scene 2? I must have took that out. Anyway, I did this video on, or some loony leftist came up with some brilliant, let me go back to my camera so you can see me, came up with, asked this question: what laws govern what men do with their bodies, right? So I made this video in response, and of course I said the draft. Well, there's no more draft. I'm like, I didn't have to sign up for selective service. And if you watched my video last week, there are actually people calling for the draft to come back. So, something to think about there, folks. So, of course, another loony leftist had to pipe in and came up with a bunch of shit. And anyway, I made this video in response. Let's see. Why is that not? Oh, there we go. Now I can do it. The cultist trying to justify abortion by lying. First lie, there is some mythical fucking right in the Constitution. Never was, never has been. And the second lie, that there are no laws governing what a man can do with his body. Well, murder would require the use of my body. That's against the law. Rape would require the use of my body. That's against the law. Drunk driving requires the use of my body, and I'm a man, so that's a law governing what I can do with my body.
You know you're in a cult if 5. You believe self-responsibility is someone else's responsibility. You know you're in a cult if 7. You believe giving a baby a death sentence out of convenience, perfectly fine, believing there's a mythical right somewhere in the Constitution. Delusional, characterized by or holding false beliefs or judgments about external reality that are held despite incontrovertible evidence to the contrary, typically as a symptom of a mental condition. Putting a convicted murderer to death after a trial and conviction, just too much.
Another cult-like behavior is finding shit in the Constitution that isn't there, but trying to ignore stuff that is. For instance, the Second Amendment.
You know you're in a cult if 8. Will use the euphemism fetus to hide the fact it's a baby. Fetus. Now. An offspring of a human. What is the offspring of a human called? A baby. Or other mammal in the stages of prenatal development that follow the embryo stage. You know you're in a cult if 20. Will lie even with irrefutable evidence. You know you're in a cult if 21. Being so filled with hate, you will groom, mutilate, and murder your own children, all while calling your opposition fascists. You know you're in a cult if 39. Will lose your shit when someone says you're in a woke cult, and to prove you're not, you do the things on this list over and over and over. You know you're in a cult if 44. It will not occur to you that if people can simply copy and paste their counter-arguments, you might be programmed. You know, like, in a cult.
You see, I'm not against killing. However, abortion isn't the problem. It's a symptom of a problem. The problem is, there are people too fucking stupid to use the over 12 methods of birth control in the United States, including a morning after pill. They always come back with, what about rape, incest, and medical conditions? I'm fair. I'll give you the 1.8% if you can give me the other 98% just because you're fucking stupid. If you're too stupid, if you're too lazy to use a pill that you can take 8 hours after the act, well,
this is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual purge sanctioned by the U.S. government. Weapons of Class 4 and lower have been authorized for use during the purge. All other weapons are restricted. Government officials of ranking 10 have been granted immunity from the purge and shall not be harmed. Commencing at the siren, any and all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 continuous hours. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be unavailable until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when the purge concludes. Blessed be our new founding fathers and America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all.
Are you fucking getting it yet?
Saturdays I trash your party. You hate Trump, Biden, Charlie. You tell every kid you see that you are gay. Science makes you mad. Indictments make you glad. For 8 years now we've got 'em, is all you said. Biology is just too much, so the doctors cut off your nuts, and you think that you are a babe. You call me names and swear at me, because you changed the way you be. And I don't want to live your fantasy. I know I'm right. You're fucking crazy. And tonight I'm gonna prove just how much you ain't too bright. You're kinda lazy. I know you're wrong. I know I'm right. You're fucking nuts. So, I gotta find the appropriate, there we go. One of his lies to try and counter the video was the Second Amendment doesn't say you can have any weapon you want. Because I said in the video that they can find shit in the Constitution that ain't there, but they will ignore the shit that is. He must have missed the shall not be infringed part. However, I'm not against people owning automatics, just as soon as they're put through a minimum military basic training, including weapons training, and not the woke shit we have today. I think it's a better way to weed out the fucking psychos than a background check. Do what Switzerland does. Everyone goes through basic training. Everyone is trained to defend their country. By the way, folks, if you're a male, and yes, everyone knows what that is, we ain't playing that game here, you're already in a militia.
Chapter 12, The Militia. Section 246. Militia, Composition and Classes. The militia of the United States consists of all able-bodied males at least 17 years of age and, except as provided in Section 313 of Title 32, under 45 years of age who are, or who have made a declaration of intention to become, citizens of the United States and of female citizens of the United States who are members of the National Guard. B. The classes of the militia are 1. The organized militia, which consists of the National Guard and the Naval Militia, and 2. The unorganized militia, which consists of the members of the militia who are not members of the National Guard or the Naval Militia.
And if you watched last week's podcast, there are people who think we may need to bring back the draft, even on a limited scale. Remember, Sniffy Joe just called up the reserves to help defend Europe because his gender-confused troops can't deploy and America has gotten too fat and too stupid to serve. Pretty soon the entrance exam will consist of can you read a clock with hands on it and write in cursive. Of course, I also believe if a cop can have a fully automatic M4 rifle, I should be able to have one too. I'm going to face the same threats. I'm just going to do it before he gets there. I literally watched a loony leftist on another podcast say that America was more respected around the world and we're better off under Sniffy Joe than Trump.
You know you're in a cult if 20 will lie even with irrefutable evidence.
Also, to just clarify, there seems to be some confusion. If you don't hold an American passport or a citizenship document, no one gives a fuck. No, wait. We give less than a fuck of what you think about America. Ain't nobody running to your country. Okay, now, I was watching this idiot on a Valuetainment podcast, and I just have to say, I think a reason a lot of us didn't get the hokey pokey is because of lying pieces of shit like this. I may pause this one from time to time to just lose my fucking mind.
From what we knew at the beginning of COVID to what we know today, what do we know about the vaccine today that we didn't know while we were all testing it in America, taking it? What have we learned now?
What do you mean testing it on America? There were tests before it was released.
9 months is not a long time to test.
No, but it was tested.
In the description, I put the web page address to the Food and Drug Administration that lists every drug they approved that they later took off the market due to health risks after the standard 5 to 10 year test cycle.
Yeah, but 9 months. The average is 30. The average is 5 to 10 years. I mean, 9 months is not enough.
Okay, so you have to say
test.
no. You have to ask. Hold on. It was tested in trials. Okay. By the way, I'm not claiming to be the expert on all this. I read all the same things you have, but I'm a scientist.
He's an astrophysicist. He has nothing to do with viruses, hokey pokies, or medicine in general. Him claiming that he's a scientist on this topic is like saying a proctologist can do brain surgery because loony leftists have their brains so close to their ass.
So I read it as a scientist, okay? There were trials. That's what the point of phase 1, 2, 3 trials are all about. They are tested enough to get data on how to then advise the larger population. Yes, it was tested. For you to say it wasn't tested is a gap between your awareness and understanding how things work and what actually happened. It was tested. If you want it to be tested on millions of people instead of thousands, you can put in for that. You can say, I don't want this unless it's millions. That's okay.
Totally fine with me.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
That's fine. So based on that, do you say, let's keep testing it while the virus keeps spreading?
Perhaps if they had, they would have known that the hokey pokey did not stop the spread of the virus. Trials on whether it stopped the spread would have been some good shit to know. Don't you think?
Okay. Right. So this is the contest between the information you have available to you at that moment and what's going on outside the lab. People are dying. Hospitals are becoming
Hold on. Okay. What's going on outside the lab? Governors were putting people with beer 19 in nursing homes. The people most vulnerable to the virus. A virus with a 98.7% survival rate for the general population. What was going on outside the lab? Loony leftists, this fucking idiot elected, were killing people.
overloaded. So, do you say we have good data on the 1,000? It's not yet at 1 million in case you wanted 1 million. Are you going to say, let's still do it on another, let's wait another 6 months so we get another 1 million in here? Will you do that as a public health professional?
No, I would have said, allow the individual to still have a choice that's okay with 1,000 instead of a few million. Leave the person have the choice. Not force him to take it or else you're going to get out of the Marines, and you've been doing this for 14 years. Not force him to take it or else you have to quit your job as a nurse.
There's a public health
force versus
there's a
choice.
There's a public health contract.
What contract is he babbling about? There's the Constitution. He wants there to be some mythical contract, but there isn't. And federal judges have already said this guy's a fucking idiot. Of course, he's a scientist, not a constitutional lawyer either.
That you have signed implicitly as a citizen of a country where in part we depend on each other for health, our wealth, our security, and the like. And that contract is, in the best scientific evidence available at the time, if you do not get vaccinated, you will put other people in this organization at risk, and that organization does not want to take that risk. So you do not have this job anymore if you decline it. So with any public health decision, there has to be a consequence to you not participating in that social contract. Is it your job? In some cases, it was. But no, we're not going to have the army bust into your home and force a needle into your shoulder. That's not going to happen.
We pretty much did that.
Well, only put your job at risk, yes.
Yeah, 67% of Americans took the COVID. That's force. That's not a choice. That's a That's a lot of force and coercing and pushing going on. But
You can't go to the school unless you're vaccinated against
bullshit.
mumps.
I think that's bullshit. If you
That's
ask
a different country.
Yeah, but
okay, would you want a country?
No, America is supposed to be the one that offers the most freedom. That's what America is supposed to be.
Yeah, okay, so watch.
So for example, if you use that argument, somebody may say, well, freedom of choice. I want to choose what I want to do with the body. You're right.
What body?
If you want to get an abortion, it's your choice.
Your own body. Your own body.
If you want to get an abortion, get an abortion. If I want to get the vaccine, I get to choose. So you can't force. If I can't force you to get an abortion, you shouldn't be able to force me to get.
Because it's not about you. It's about people you interact with, and that's the social contract of public health.
We don't even know if the vaccine worked or not at the time.
Yes, that's what the trials are, dude. That's why these trials. Are you missing data out there?
But let me ask you a question. Are we saying only one type of scientists are right?
No, we're saying that the system in place,
the 16,000 that signed that.
No. The system in place to test vaccines.
Yeah.
Remember, this idiot also believes that men can get pregnant and women can have a penis. Do you think that maybe dickheads like this are why some people didn't get the hokey pokey? Fucking stupid.
Complete lying prick.
There's an entire system that's in place that with review boards and all of this.
And the average
that's in place. Now what you can say is, I have a better idea than all these review boards and all these agencies and the CDC. I have a better.
There's an entire system that wasn't done. They got emergency authorization. This is why so many people are skeptical. If idiots like this would have been quiet and hadn't sounded so fucking stupid and brainwashed, and there wasn't so much censorship and all the fascist bullshit, I bet there would have been less resistance. Stupid makes normal people skeptical. Then the truth came out, and they were right, and Dingle Nuts here is trying to double down on the old lies.
Hospital tested, clinically proven bullshit.
Better idea, here's what you should do, and that would have made everything better. Okay, you can put forth that idea, but what I'm saying is, in a case where you can contaminate someone else,
you can still contaminate people. Hokey pokey or no hokey pokey, it did not stop the spread. As a matter of fact, the majority of beer 19 ceased to exist in hospitals now are juiced people. Why is he even speaking on this topic? Why is he considered an expert in a field he's never fucking studied?
How can you talk if you haven't got a brain?
I don't know. But some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?
Yes, I guess you're right.
It's not about you. It's about the collective
You're assuming
health.
You're assuming because somebody can take the vaccine, won't get COVID, which, by the way, I don't need to play the clips for you to see it, where everybody said, hey, if you get it, you're not going to get, if you take the vaccine, you're not going to get a Rachel Maddow, Joe Biden. I can give you Fauci. I can give you, and you've seen these clips before. It's not like you've never seen it before.
Yeah, what happened?
They were wrong.
Hold on. So, the strain evolved.
Here's where he contradicts himself about the juice working. Here he's going to try and justify the failure of the hokey pokey. Does anyone think this fucking idiot isn't just out here trying to save the Democrat Party? He's out here because he's a scientist, not in the field he's lecturing on, but because he voted for the loony left and is part of the cult's elite class. Most beer 19 cease to exist in hospitals now are the juiced.
You know you're in a cult if 9. You will utter the words over and over. Follow the science all while ignoring science.
Moving along.
Okay? So that the vaccine that prevented you from catching COVID was tuned to the variant of COVID at the time the vaccine was designed. Okay? Over time, there were variants that arose. The vaccine provided partial protection against the new variants, enough to keep you from dying statistically, and to basically keep you out of the hospital, allowing other people with more severe problems to get the hospital attention they required. And so then they would develop the booster and a subsequent mixture of the vaccine. This is what happens every year with a flu shot.
Oh, probably shouldn't have brought up the flu shot. When was anyone mandated to get a flu shot? I never have been. Also, prior to the pandemic, 30,000 people a year ceased to exist of the flu. Strange. Once the pandemic started, no one ceased to exist of the flu. Also, I do believe we owe Vladimir Putin a big thanks. He seemed to cure Beer 19. As soon as he invaded Ukraine, it miraculously disappeared and wasn't a national emergency anymore.
Are you fucking getting it yet?
They look at how the flu has evolved from one season to the next, and what's fortunate is Australia tends to get the variant of flu before we do, because they get their winter in our summer, and then so we study that, have a forward projection for it. So these annual flu shots are precisely out of the same idea of how this occurs.
How long have those been tested, though? For years. COVID vaccine hasn't been tested for it. It was something we just came out. But let me.
I don't know what point you're making, other than it was tested. You might
9 months is not enough.
You might prefer. No, it's not a matter of time. It's a matter of how many. Yes, time matters, but the number of people is paramount. That's the most important thing. Okay, you don't test it on 10 people. You test it on as many people as you can.
Sure.
I think it was thousands, but
is it fair to say that some of the side effects we may not know for 5, 10, 15, 20 years? You can't, they can't say we know 100% the side effects 10 years from now. How are you going to know that?
Yeah, okay. So, no, of course, we can't know that.
So then all I'm saying is...
Watch. We can't know that.
Okay.
But watch. So I have a whole chapter called Risk and Reward in the book.
So, an astrophysicist wrote a book about a virus. That's like me writing a book where in chapter 2 it says, in your third trimester, you're going to feel a little bit of pressure. Do you get why I call them loony leftists, not just leftists?
That is what's known as being stunningly full of shit.
Which tries to sensitize people to when they make a decision, what kind of risk are they absorbing relative to what they're rejecting? Okay? And we're not very good at that, at probability and statistics or analyzing it. That's why TV commercials trying to sell you a product don't just show you data, they show a person.
Wait a minute, I need something. This is what's keeping me calm during this segment. This guy's
Speaking of the effectiveness of the product, a single person, I lost 50 pounds. The testimony of an individual should be irrelevant to you relative to the entire set of people who have done it. And you want to look at those statistics, but we're not good at that. And advertisers know that. So they show the testimony of an individual, which is hugely potent in a civilization where we don't think statistically, we think about eyewitness testimony on something. And somehow that is raised to a very high level of influence on our decisions. What I'm saying is, you're not your decision point is not, I'm not going to take the virus because 5 years, 10 years, I don't know what effect it's going to have.
Some may, though. Some may not be comfortable with
Let me finish the sentence. Okay? So you can say, I don't want to take the virus because 5 or 10 years from now, there could be a side effect that we don't see.
Which is a possibility.
Hold on. I'm trying to make a statistical point here, okay? If you say, I don't want to take the virus because it hasn't been tested for 5 years and there could be some long-term side effect that worries me, okay? In that same moment, there's the risk factor of you getting COVID.
The risk factor of getting beer 19 is the same as without the hokey pokey as it is. He keeps trying to act like that information doesn't exist.
You know you're in a cult if 9. You will utter the words over and over. Follow the science all while ignoring science.
Sure.
Okay? Unvaccinated. At one point, 87% of everyone dying.
Now it's the exact opposite. Shall I play number 9 again? He just said he was going to give statistical analysis. Well, those are the statistics. They were the statistics when this program came out. So he's just hoping you don't know. Now you know. A majority of beer 19 cease to exist are juiced.
Complete lying prick.
In the hospital of COVID was unvaccinated. Okay. So your risk choice is, I'm not going to take it because maybe somewhere down the line something will happen and we don't know what that is, or I will risk getting COVID, and if I get COVID, depending on your age and other things, there's a 3% chance of me dying in the hospital. That's your choice. Yes. Yes, but what I see people doing is they focus on one thing, and that's the foundation of their decision, rather than the other chance. And what happens if you get COVID? Now you get long COVID. Now you can have a taste buds for 2 years or whatever it is for long COVID.
Yeah.
You're on a ventilator in the hospital, possibly dying. Like what? Where is the? So I looked every day. Once a week, I looked at the statistics. How many people are getting COVID? What's the rate? What's the rate of hospitalization? What's the rate of deaths? Where is it by state?
I had to look at it.
Later, he'll actually contradict himself again on this information, saying he didn't know the numbers in Florida. Again, hard to keep your bullshit straight, huh?
My board forced me to, like, we're in the business that we have to
they
look at.
should,
yeah, of course,
because it's data.
Yeah, I agree
on risk factors,
the risk of people's lives.
Okay,
for sure.
So nothing is ever zero risk. Yeah, there's a risk that you'll grow a third arm in 10 years because.
Or a risk your fucking heart will stop during basketball practice.
The virus mutates within you.
Should the individual not have the right to say, I don't want to take it because that's
you don't have the right to contaminate someone else. So if you don't want to get shot,
who says that though? But who says that?
It's a social contract.
It's like these leftists invent shit out of thin air. There's a right to kill my baby in the Constitution. There's a social contract. We do have a contract. But it doesn't mention lockdowns, putting people out of business, or forcing people to get an experimental drug. It only lists the things the government can't do. Someone send this asshole a copy of the Constitution. He seems to have this confused with some mythical document in his fucking head.
You know you're in a cult if 2. You believe obedience is strength. You know you're in a cult if 6. You believe reality isn't real. Delusional, characterized by or holding false beliefs or judgments about external reality that are held despite incontrovertible evidence to the contrary, typically as a symptom of a mental condition.
Civilization.
I don't have
public health.
I don't have the right to contaminate someone else. What do you mean? Like, so what do I do? Stay home all day?
Yeah, or go to the beach. Yeah, you stay away from other old people who but you stay away from people who are immune compromised.
So Neil, so for me, I'm asking you because I want to know how you process this as a guy that's well-read, smart.
I process the data, and the data.
We didn't have enough data, though.
No,
we didn't have enough data
at any given moment.
Yeah.
There's data for you to make a decision at any given moment.
Sure.
The data is constantly getting better and better.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. At any given moment, you say to yourself, okay, what happens to me if I get COVID? There's a chance I'll get long COVID. I'm certainly out for at least a week. and there's a chance I'll be hospitalized, and there's a chance I'll die.
All those risks still exist with the hokey pokey. I'm going to shut up for a bit and let you guys listen. I'm about to lose my fucking mind. You guys weigh in on the chat. Holy fuck. I'll try to shut up.
Mm-hmm.
I take the vaccine. It mitigates this, basically entirely removing the chance that I'm going to die, essentially, at my age group. And I will accept the risk that in 5 years I'll grow a third arm. That's the kind of decision making that I make. Now, that's just for me, but on top of that, if my workplace says, we don't want you coming in unless you are vaccinated and you might lose your job, I would say, why? Oh, because you could contaminate someone else, introducing a problem in their own health profile. That's the public contract. That's why workers wash their hands in the restaurant bathrooms.
Sorry, I couldn't fucking resist. Does anyone follow you into the fucking bathroom and watch you wash your hands? I do remember one guy that forced people to take experimental hokey pokies. What was his name again? M. Mangala. Remember though, Trump was a fascist. I'll try and shut up now.
By law. Yes, they're required to do so because you don't want poop germs in your dinner that they're preparing, because our evidence showed that that's one of the greatest places you can spread disease is in a restaurant with a central kitchen. So this is the now you want a world where you can do whatever you want.
I want a world where there's fucking common sense, where you just wash your hands because it's a good fucking idea. Not because the government has to fucking tell me to. Start educating people instead of being fascist fucks.
And have it influence other people.
I'm not saying that.
You kind of are.
I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is the following. Like, okay, for example, statistics. Have you seen the documentary Died Suddenly? Have you looked at it?
No, I haven't.
Okay. It's an interesting one. It's on I don't know where it's at. You can find it somewhere online. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It's got 30 million views. I think it's worth watching. Actually would be curious to know what you say about it once you watch it.
Mm-hmm.
The statistic then showed, like, pre-COVID, 29 people, athletes in Europe died suddenly from heart failure. Pre-COVID. Pre-taking the mRNA vaccine. Okay. Post-taking the mRNA vaccine last year, 1,500 people suddenly had heart failures in Europe, and 2/3 died. That's documented. That's not like it's a hypothetical, right? Okay, you read statistics like that, then one has the right to say.
Well, just to be careful. You have to be careful how you speak information. So you are describing two events. Okay, you're describing events that had a temporal relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Before you've established a causal relationship. Just be clear that's
100%. I'm not doing that. All I'm doing is the following. Here's all I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody all of a sudden starts having a breakout, okay?
A breakout of what?
Meaning their skin starts breaking out.
Uh-huh.
You're 26 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You never had a breakout. All of a sudden you start breaking out. And the doctor says, listen, man, what have you been doing differently? Well, listen, for the first time in my life, 6 weeks ago, I started doing DECA, steroids. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, that's why it implicates it, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. Hey, if somebody all of a sudden, is having a hard time sleeping at night, I'm having a very hard time. So let's watch your diet. Well, then they notice at 10:30 at night, you're having iced tea and, lemonade, and you add it with this. Well, listen, if we've been doing it for 6 weeks, that's why you're having a hard time. Just drop that. Don't drink that after 2 o'clock. I'm just making, saying, but all I'm saying is, what I want to know is I want to put everything on the table versus saying, no, there's one thing we can't put on the table, and that's the cause of the vaccine. There is no way there could be any negative impact because of the vaccine. That's ludicrous.
No one has ever said that ever about any vaccine.
If you say that, then the question then becomes back for you to say, when COVID first got started, I invited so many doctors to come in to talk about COVID. And then I invited people from both sides. I want both sides. I invited people from both sides. You know which side would never come? The side that was for vaccine would never, ever come because they thought they were above the average person, that they know and the rest of us are dumb. So because of that, they're not willing to come and sit down with scientists. I think that's arrogant. So to me, when I ask you scientific debate, I'm not telling you I'm a scientist. Hey, let me debate with you because I'm smarter than you. I'm not a scientist. I'm a business guy.
Let's do a hypothetical scenario. Hypothetics are, let's assume an actual cause and effect has been established in this case.
Sure.
Which it's not. I have to see this film to know. I don't know that there's a cause and effect other than a coincidence in time relative to other things that people might have been doing. By the way, alcohol consumption went up during COVID.
So world-class athletes' hearts are fucking stopping because alcohol consumption went up during Beer 19.
World-class designer bullshit.
Significantly. Okay, and alcohol is implicated in heart disease. So
depression, anxiety, people staying at home, kids,
opioids,
addicts, addiction. Okay. So the staying at home wasn't the best decision either.
What I'm saying is, if after the vaccine is available, more people die of heart failure.
Exactly, Grumpy. Actually, this guy isn't even a virologist. He's a fucking astrophysicist. But he's the only scientist that will fucking come on and talk to anyone, and he's a fucking idiot. This is a guy who believes men can get fucking pregnant. If you watch the early part of the video, he's a fucking idiot. He's literally pissing me off just watching it. I've watched it 3 times. It still pisses me off. He's a fucking idiot. I don't have a degree in astrophysics. But you know what? I'm not lecturing on fucking COVID either. I do know what the difference between a man and a woman, so I'm like above this fucking idiot.
Failure over a time where alcohol consumption went up, as did depression.
That could be an option.
That's right.
That's a very good
point. That's all I'm saying here. But let's give it to you that the vaccine caused this. Let's just say that. Okay?
Yeah.
And add it all up, and you got, what was it, 1,500 post-vaccine?
29 to 1,500.
29 deaths.
Sports deaths,
1,500. Thousands of deaths, let's say. Okay?
Common sense is so fucking rare today, it should be considered a superpower.
Let's say 10,000 even. Let's just do that. Okay. All right. You can estimate how many deaths the vaccine saved during COVID. Okay? Because you can look at the death numbers drop off as people got vaccinated. It's in the tens of millions. Again, you can make a decision. Do I not want to die from COVID at this rate that occurred in this world?
If you didn't almost die of COVID, they can't say they saved your life with a fucking vaccine. If you were not in the hospital, because guess what? I shouldn't have said the C word. You can't say it on here because you'll get censored because they're fucking fascists like this dickhead.
Or do I not want to die from this complication from the vaccine itself, the heart failure? So make your decision. And so you'll say, I might be in that 1,500, so I'm not going to take. Then you get COVID and die from COVID, right? So you just make the decision.
You know what I would say to that? You know what I would say to that?
What would you say?
Here's what I would say to that. I would say, perfect. Let me take the risk. And thank you for giving it to me that way versus telling me it's one or the other, which is how it was presented. As long as you are informed fully about what the risks are. But like I said, as a species, we're not very good at thinking statistically.
So basically, this idiot is saying, you're too fucking stupid to be free. You should have no freedom because you can't handle statistics. Holy shit.
Statistically about it. We're just not. And when we want to, we believe we're going to be the exception. And look at the people betting on lotteries. You know, they think they're going to win.
But for me, like, you know, the moment they started saying you have to put on cigarettes, the risk of heart failure, cancer, this, that. And if you still want to smoke cigarettes, guess what? You got a risk if you smoke cigarettes. You may get lung cancer, right? Hey, if you eat this, if you do this, if you do that.
Yeah, we've denied your admission to the bar. There's a cost to that because it's a public health issue. And so, right, you are free to smoke the cigarette, but not in my establishment.
If it's by law, you're not making the decision for your establishment. some idiot like this is. Could someone please explain to me how you still call America land of the free? Now, I quit smoking, but guess what? I'm not going to tell someone else they can't. Fuck off.
By law.
Not in your establishment.
By law.
By law.
Correct.
No problem.
Right.
Totally fine.
Holy fuck, I need a beer before I want to stab this dude in the neck with a pen.
But that's an example.
But if you want to smoke cigarettes outside,
Neil,
you can.
And you can live on the beach unvaccinated. That's fine.
Neil, let me ask you this. So what state would you say was the most responsible during COVID?
State? I don't know. I never looked.
So if you're...
He just contradicted himself because he said he looked at the stats by state every week.
Stats
I have no
guy.
idea.
Okay, I'm a stats guy as well. I like stats, but I'm more financial. I'm not like, but I understand what you're saying.
A lot
with
of stats and finance.
I'm a baseball guy, so I like stats.
Okay.
I'm all about stats. I love baseball. So if we look at the stats, the media made Florida seem the most irresponsible state. That's what the media made it look. Okay,
we're in Florida right now. You guys do have kind of a bad rap.
Yeah, they don't let loony left cultists groom and mutilate children, and they don't let the Marxists teach CRT in their schools.
Bad reputation on a lot of stuff.
Okay, sure. So, and by the way, I've lived in California 24 years, 5 years in Texas, 2 years in Florida. So
Okay.
just so you know my background.
That's right. Okay.
10 years in Iran, 2 years in Germany. That's kind of my background. A couple years in the military. But if we say, hey, if we look at the data, the most irresponsible state was Florida. You would have heard many times news telling you that. When I go to California and I would say, I'm in Florida, I was like, oh my God, you're in Florida. Oh my, it's horrible. But you know what I realized? Here's what I realized. If the state of Florida is so bad, why did the NBA during Black Lives Matter host the playoffs in Florida?
In the bubble.
If Florida
I thought they created a bubble.
Hold on.
Are you fucking getting it yet?
Exactly. It's fucking, and this guy, I want to stab him in the neck with a fucking pen. I shouldn't say that on YouTube either, because you can't have, you can't be a fucking alpha male, basically in this world anymore.
Bubble for themselves.
But why did they come here? They could have done it in Texas. Texas got plenty of places they could do it in. Why did they do it here?
I don't know.
But the point is, they felt safest.
I'm not going to use the NBA as a measure of what is
They also did the Super Bowl here.
A lot of the Super Bowl was here. I'll give you another one. Pro-vaccine AOC for vacation. She came to Miami.
AOC, wait, wasn't she vaccinated and she still got fucking beer 19? If I remember correctly, she was crying about it.
People from New York and California were partying for Miami. During COVID, when everybody was looking for a home during Christmas where to go to, you couldn't go to Colorado. You couldn't go to Lake Tahoe because it sucked. You had all these other choices. Everybody came to Florida.
I'm not going to judge the safety of a... I can't use that as a statistics of safety.
Well, here's some statistics for you, fucktard. Florida was ranked 12th in Beer 19 ceased to exist. Behind New York, California, and all the other loony leftist, mass Nazi, hokey pokey motherfuckers.
I can't. I don't care who chooses where to vacation. I care what your death rates are.
Well, it would appear it was in Florida.
Are you fucking getting it yet?
your vaccination rates are, what your hospitalization rates are. That would be an objective measure from state to state. What state are you most likely to die in from COVID? That's a statistic I would pay attention to. What state has the least hospital beds to accommodate those who are sick from COVID, even if they're not going to die from COVID? I would want to know that. I'm not going to base a decision on whether the NBA chose.
I don't even think AOC would make a good bartender. Because she fucking annoys me. I don't want to go to a bar where the bartender fucking annoys me. I'm sorry, that's just me.
To put their bubble in the state.
Well, statistically, New York and California does not look good. Statistically, New York and California, and they're supposed to be the most responsible ones. Those two states didn't look good. All I'm saying is, from my end.
Yeah, that's what you get, like New York, when you put old folks with COVID into fucking nursing homes with people that don't.
In a space where I sit there and I listen to you and I learn. I say, oh my gosh, okay, I had no clue about that.
Shit, I said beer 19. I can't say the C word. I'll probably get in trouble. Fuck you.
It's brilliant. That's interesting. Let me go research. Let me go look at this. I'm a guy that likes debate of experts in two different sides and let them make the argument. And I'm mature enough to know the better salesman doesn't necessarily have the better argument.
Good. But let me just say that there's nothing I've said in the last half hour that is a debating point.
Yes, yeah, you really can't debate. It's all
bullshit.
There's no debating. It's bullshit.
All I'm telling you, you can debate whether you should still be able to work and put other workers at risk for not having vaccinated.
So let me get. I think I said it earlier. I'll say it again, just so it sinks in. The juiced fired the unjuiced because they didn't think the juice would protect them from the unjuiced. This dude needs to have his head slammed in a car door.
You can debate that.
Yeah.
In the context of public health, that's a risk factor that we don't want to introduce to other people because of your decisions.
A 98.7% survival rate in the general population. You have a better chance of dying due to communism than of dying due to beer 19.
That's a public health issue. It's been going on basically for 100 and something years since, who's the woman who some famous medical case, a person who spread what's it?
She's going to say Typhoid Mary. But even back then, they did not mandate fucking vaccines to everyone. They do it for schools. Tested vaccines for 20, 30 years, not 9 fucking months.
What is that case?
Recently?
No, 100 years ago.
Oh.
It created a whole wave of sanitation rules and things for public health sake.
I'm not familiar.
But anyway, the point is, I want to make sure you can focus on the 1,500 people who died after the vaccine.
Mary Mallon? You're talking about the history of typhoid fever?
Yeah, Typhoid Mary. Yes, thank you.
Typhoid Mary.
Yeah, remember, this guy's a scientist. That's why he's lecturing on this stuff. Of course, he's an astrophysicist, not a fucking virologist or an actual fucking doctor.
Okay.
He wrote a book on this shit. How?
I didn't know her last name.
Yeah.
I thought Typhoid was her first name.
Typhoid Mary.
Okay. Wait. So it's simply a matter of, if you're saying you don't want to be in the 2,000, whatever the number is, who died after the vaccine from heart failure at the peak of your physical career, not totally necessarily factoring in all the other abuses that went on over that time that may have contributed to it. Instead, you want to take the risk of COVID and...
You're still going to get beer 19. It does not stop the transmission, you fucktard. Again, the largest number of cease to exists, you can't say the other word, in hospitals now are the juiced.
Not be one of the 20 million people who would have died and didn't.
How the fuck do you know that? Unless they were in the hospital and recovered. You wouldn't fucking know that. Just like unreported self-defense uses of a gun. Don't know. Because they didn't fucking report it.
right? So I just want you to have the statistics in front of you. And it seems to me most people would, in most cases, choose the path that reduces their chance of death.
Yeah, that's why I didn't get the juice.
But by the way, I don't disagree.
That's why I'm not.
I got the beer 19 instead from a vaccinated, or a juiced person. I can't say vaccinated. Fuck. But my symptoms were less than theirs. They were juiced and I wasn't, and their symptoms were worse. Think about that.
Debating. I'm just saying. I'm putting it out there.
But this part of what you're saying, I'm 100% with you. But this is.
It's not a matter of being with me. It's just, are you with the decision making of what is rational statistical analysis?
But this position is not an arrogant position.
In the United States, the average age was actually 87. I looked that up. 87 years old. And they had comorbidity before: cancer, diminished immune system, emphysema. They smoked, obesity, stress, hypertension. This guy's a fucking this guy also believes men can get pregnant and women can have a penis. So I put, when you listen to this fucking idiot when he says he's a scientist, I would say grain of salt.
Position is kind of like when you're sitting there and you tell the doctor, so doc, what do? Do I get the surgery? Like, we have one of my good friends right now is getting a brain surgery in the next couple weeks. She's afraid. Now, she believes in God, so faith is kind of calming her down, but she's afraid.
Oh my God, you just mentioned God in front of, I'm surprised his head didn't fucking explode.
Okay? The doctor says, there's a 10% chance you're not going to make it. Mm-hmm. Do you want to, for the rest of your life, live having to take that medication with the side effects? Or do you want to do the surgery? The individual is making a decision to get the surgery. She knows the chances is what? 10%. You know what I say to that? Hey, at least I know the risk. Versus, no, if you take this, you won't get anything. Propaganda, selling me this. Like, what's the three things that you say? There's three.
If you have to censor people, if you have to hand out fucking French fries, if you have to threaten people to do something, that ain't America. So tell me again how Sniffy Joe isn't a fucking fascist.
Three different types of truth, right? It's objective truth, personal truth,
and political truth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the one I have a problem with. And I agree with you.
Should we all?
And that's the part I have a problem with. I'm personal truth, let's debate, have fun with it. Great, let the audience...
Personal truth. Yeah. You want to debate personal truth.
Exactly, that's cool.
Okay. Kirk or Picard,
yes.
Whatever.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
But is that a Star Trek reference?
Dude, who let him in?
I'm sorry.
Who let him in?
They've been asking that question for years.
The political truth, I think, is what brought a lot of division in households, in companies, different places. Of course, I think that's what happened the last 2.5 years, specifically with that. And you know this, like, you took it, you didn't take it, you're part of a political party. Like, you may be positioning me right now.
Statistically, that was a correct statement.
Yeah, statistically it was. But what was it?
What's funny is I've never seen so many loony leftists argue so hard for something fucking Trump did that we all criticize, all us supposed conservatives criticize.
What's interesting is that people with no college degrees...
Exactly. Like, freedom sells itself. I like freedom. I know you don't have to make an ad. I just like it.
Took the vaccine less than those with bachelor's degrees, but then MBA was the least, which is kind of funny. MBA people took the least amount of vaccine percent.
Interesting
sociology statistics.
Uh-huh.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast.
Yes, I am. That dude just like fucking drives me nuts because he strikes me as the type that would literally, if Sniffy Joe showed up, he would get on his knees and like make sure you fondle the balls. The old man likes that. And him calling himself a scientist and lecturing on anything after calling himself a scientist, after saying men can get pregnant, women can have a penis. I'm sorry, then you don't know fucking science. I obviously know more science than you do because I know that's fucking impossible. But what I want is I'm still waiting for a loony leftist to come in here so I can, nobody wants to come over and play because I'm waiting. I mean, literally, I'm waiting. I can't wait. The turd challenge, whatever they want to do, I'm up for. I even have, yeah.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Let's get ready to rumble!
And I see, I'm almost tempted because I get more responses on Instagram of making these short videos for Instagram because I'm looking to tear people up. I have a it's like yeah. And to be honest, at this point, Grumpy, I don't give a fuck. Matter of fact, I'm actually at the point where I think we need World War III just to weed out the douche nozzles. Let's kick this shit off. Holy fuck, people! You're literally you're here because nobody wants you dead. Mother Nature has a plan. Yeah. Mother Nature rules. There you go. I was trying to use, yeah, I think we need World War III, to be perfectly fucking upfront and honest. We need people dead. Just because they're stupid people. Why does the military enlist its best and brightest when it should be putting in the first people they should send in waves are the fucking stupid people? They should just literally anybody that voted Democrat, like you voted, who'd you vote for? That's how they should draft too. Who'd you vote for? Sniffy Joe. Oh, good for you. Here's your rifle. The front is that way. Good luck. That's exactly how it should be. Because holy fuck, our people fucking stupid. We need to get rid of our stupid people.
Nature ruled on you, son, not mine.
Yeah, if you're too fucking stupid, like in nature, you'd starve to death or be eaten by another animal. I think we should start applying that role to humans. We go out of our way to keep our worthless alive. Mother Nature doesn't have welfare. They don't hand out food stamps. You don't go out and fucking get it, you don't eat. I know, like Grumpy, they complain about farmers. But don't eat the fucking food then. Go make it yourself, dumbass. People complain, rich people. Okay. You're complaining about rich people on a fucking an iPhone made by rich people. He got rich making iPhones. Make your own fucking iPhone, dumbass. Show those rich people. This is our the generation that's going to take over. Holy fuck. Is going to take over from us. We're fucked.
Ding 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 ding. There he sits inside your local coffee shop, sporting a mean facial hair. Somehow he believes, although he has no job, that by his
for their ears. They feel like they know most everything. See, they grew up with undeserved confidence, cause they got trophies just for participating. M-I-L-L-E-N, M-I-L, gotta love millennials. M-I-L-L-E-N, M-I-L, gotta love millennials. In a couple of years we will have to pass the torch. In a couple of years they will be in charge, and one will be our president. Oh no. M-I-L-L-E-N, M-I-A-L, gotta love millennials. M-I-L-L-E-N, M-I-A-L, please pray for millennials.
Let me explain Russia and Ukraine. If they weren't laundering money for the Bidens, they wouldn't have 35 M1 Abrams tanks at $8 million a pop. What did he send? $700 per family to Maui. Fuck Joe Biden. The motherfucker needs to drop dead. Or actually, not even Biden. Barack Obama needs to drop fucking dead. He's running the show. Anybody who doesn't think so is a fucking moron. And he was horrible the last 8 years. Holy fuck. Oh, and these Trump indictments, they're funny. All the loony leftists are... Watching this go on for 8 years is like watching another Obama presidency. Holy fuck. You didn't get shit done for 8 years. Except for getting my friends killed in Afghanistan. Yeah. The rules of engagement. Fuck you. If you voted for Obama or Sniffy Joe, fuck you. You're a fucking retard. Might I recommend starting a shotgun? Probably shouldn't say that on YouTube, but hey, YouTube, fuck you too. Don't care. I'm not in your jurisdiction. Hence the other flag. I'm so sick of just the... how are you Americans still saying you're free? Holy fuck. Why aren't you shooting someone? Like, they're grooming and mutilating kids in schools and nobody's like going, yeah, I'm pissed off. It's about time we blah, 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 and nobody doing shit. Fuck. And then they'll lie about it. We're not doing that, and I'll show them a video. And they'll still say, we're not doing that. Okay. I've written books, 5, to be honest, 5 books. Never in the writing process, thinking about what I wanted to write about, doing the outlines, whatever, has it ever crossed my mind to write a children's book about what I do with my pee-pee. Never, just never children's book, pee-pee. Just, the two words just don't even go together in my head. The loony leftists. Fuck. Of course, they've been trying to normalize mental illness for decades. And then, well, of course, then they do it in schools and then wonder why schools get shot up. Hey, dumbasses, it ain't the guns, it's you. We also have the most medicated and most suicidal generation in the history of the country. You don't think maybe they had something to do with that? Just saying. Because back in my day, we didn't have ADD. We had, you're about to get your ass whooped. We didn't have meds like that. You just got your ass whooped. Because, well, there wasn't no fucking ADD. You didn't have attention deficit disorder. You just didn't fucking pay attention. Of course, we also, didn't have car seats. Your seatbelt was your mom's arm. And if you fucked around, she didn't even stop the car. She would just spin around, beat your ass, and never miss a beat. And you could drive a stick. She could drive a stick. Which I'm getting really fucking good at. I haven't driven a stick since 2008 in Afghanistan. I'm getting really good at it. I don't like the speed bumps here. They have a bunch of speed bumps, and you have to shift down to second every time you hit a speed bump. So I'm shifting up to third, down to second. Up to third, down. I live in the city. But hey, look at that. Look at that. That's my shifting arm. Look at the size of that big boy, bad boy. Yeah. I thought that COVID video just made me. Next week's video has one of those race baiting CRT douchebags on there that just fucking, you got. If America were so fucking racist, why would brown people be running to it? A friend of my wife's from Brazil just moved to America. You think, she wouldn't want to go there. It's really racist. There's racist in Brazil. Are there racists in America? Yep. There's soft racism too. People don't understand the concept of soft racism. Soft racism is lowering the standards of conduct for people because of their skin color. That's called soft racism. It's you thinking they're not as good as you are. I think everyone has the potential to be like me, or not like me, but equal. What they do and what I do, regardless of skin color. So when they're a fucking idiot, I don't care about their skin color, just fucking idiot. And people don't like that. You're a racist. Why? Because I think you're a fucking idiot? No, I'll call anybody, regardless of color, a fucking idiot. And I can get testimonials too. Unlike you fucking idiots, I'll get testimonials. Do I think you're a fucking idiot? Yep. What color are you? I'm white. Yeah, well, you're a fucking idiot. I can get videos off. I don't use. Now I'm babbling because I'm fucking just that video just pissed me off. Oh. Oh man, I'm a scientist. Really? Can men have or women have a penis? Well, yeah. And then you ain't a fucking scientist. Are you fucking kidding me? And he's the scientist. I hold him equal with like Bill Nye the Science Guy. Yeah, I know that. I've seen that video. I used that video. I bet you I can find. I think there's also a video where a biological male who claimed to be a woman, looked like a dude with long hair. That's exactly what it was. Started beating up women in the locker room because they told they didn't want to dress or undress. This is the lunacy that is America. Okay. It doesn't happen here. Why? They don't push it in schools. Did you know that the LGBTQ quotes, fucking alphabet bullshit, has risen 25%, although 21%. Yeah, 21%. But you can claim, basically you're straight, you just make up some fucking word that you're not straight, whatever. Fuck you, you're straight. Okay? Like, what is it? Pansexual. I only have sex with people I'm emotionally attracted to. Well, that's called a boyfriend, dumbass. Or a girlfriend. You're straight.
that's a boyfriend or a girlfriend. See? Got it all figured out. There's only 3 sexual orientations, by the way. Gay, straight, and bi. And bi is like, I'm kind of up there with bi. Like, how do you wake up in the morning and go, is it going to be vag today or is it going to be balls across the nose? I need another beer. But it's not they don't hold fucking parades either. The one thing I like about Brazil is they don't hold parades here. Now, if you want to be gay, I know, I've had a friend who was gay. Whatever. They don't hold parades. They don't care. Just let them live. That's the problem with them. They want special privileges. Like I kept hearing the word trans rights. What rights don't you have? What, the right to not be searched without a warrant? What rights don't you have? Point out the fucking rights you don't have. I had one say, well, we can't adopt kids from Catholic churches. Well, adoption ain't a right, dumbass. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say you have the right to adopt. And also, there's other organizations you could adopt from. But then again, you're mentally ill, so I probably wouldn't authorize your adoption anyway until you got treatment. And one of the questions on the form should be, do you believe children can choose their gender? If you say yes, you shouldn't have a child anyway. You're fucking mentally ill. And you're a groomer and a pedophile. Like I can go back to the book, because the book thing really drives me, because I'm an author, so it drives me nuts. It does. Like, they made a pop-up book. You know how you open it and the stuff pops up to show them how to do gay sex. That's your country. Your country. It's a first world this is a first world problem. Really is. Because you don't see it here. Because they don't push it in schools. Let me explain the difference between first world and third world. Third world, you have to work or you don't fucking eat. And they're not arguing over Planned Parenthood funding and all this other bullshit. They're arguing over medical care and not gender affirming care, actual medical care. And cowboys were doing gender affirming care before it was cool. It was called a rubber band they put around the balls and they fucking fell off. I wonder if I can open those links. I'll go to F6 and open the links. Let's see here. Nope. One thing I am going to do, though, is add add as moderator. Okay, there you go. Grumpy is now a moderator. Anyway, and yeah, that COVID, the Beer 19 video just pissed me off. Next week I have an ass clown on CRT who believes everything is racist. Everything. I wish I could get more people in here in the chat so we could actually converse. And I'm not Mr. Personality. I'm not like Jimmy, or Grumpy, or I delve into facts. And I do think my sound effects are fucking cool. Let's see, sound effects. Where's that? Where's it? E, F.
Fuck you, asshole.
The Terminator. But I think I'm going to call it a wrap for the night. Maybe go over to Facebook and open a room and see if anybody's out there who wants to talk. If not, I'll go live. I don't care. I do like a 10-minute, but I'd like to say it's been fun. It's been real, but it ain't been real fun. So. Saúde para com da Brasil.